In Myrtle Beach, you always go at your own pace. Lie out on the sand, lie out by the pool, go boogie boarding, go surfing, walk the boardwalk, walk the marsh walk, golf at one of 90 golf courses, mini golf at one of 50 mini golf courses, fish off a pier, fish from a chartered boat, go shopping, get drinks, eat the freshest seafood. The list is exhaustive, but the experience isn't. You can go all out or do nothing at all. How you relax is up to you. There is so much to do and explore, whether you're traveling with friends, family, or just yourself. With 60 miles of beach, you're going to find your place. If this sounds like what you need, then this is where you belong.
Hey, do y'all like fishing for prizes? Maybe a trip to Costa Rica or a once-in-a-lifetime African safari? Well, the Grand Strand Fishing Rodeo is back. Thanks to the hard work of Visit Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and Trilogy Outdoors Media, this once-popular event is back and is bigger and better than ever. This event is comprised of 12 monthly competitions that culminate in November with our annual banquet and expo, the celebration of fishing on the Grand Strand. New to this event is the freshwater division that will help include all of our anglers that live and visit the Grand Strand throughout the year. Monthly species winners will receive great prize packages from Bass Pro Shop and Surf Signs and Designs. But most importantly, they will receive an invite for them and a guest to our annual banquet and an entry in the grand prize drawing. So whether you fish the rivers, a pond, the pier, the surf, or a boat, you have a chance to win the grand prizes. To get signed up or for additional information, visit TrilogyOutdoorsMedia.com and click on event. Also, you can visit any of our weigh stations and registration stations to get signed up as well. Best of luck to everyone, and we'll see you at the scale.
Trilogy Outdoors.
All right, folks, welcome back to Trilogy Outdoors podcast, and we got a little facelift going on to the show today, and you'll hear some new music, new sound effects and such. But the Senator and I are in the Trilogy Outdoors podcast studio here. And the Senator, Myrtle Beach Chamber of Commerce, has sent us an awesome guest for this show.
Yeah, we're excited to have with us my kids want to say the world's strongest man. I hate to say a world's strongest man, one of the world's strongest men, Tom Evans.
I think one of these is safe. Well, we'll see how this weekend goes.
Yeah.
I'm flattered they think of that me already, so it's good stuff.
No, they definitely do. They've already.
Dude, I rolled into the neighborhood and I got a wrap on my truck so they know it's me, or else I would have loved it if they'd all come running out to my truck. But yeah, they were all waiting on you. You had a welcoming committee out there.
So first of all, I noticed a little stranglehold coming in.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and I guess our friend Ted Nugent gave us permission to use his music. So
he gave us permission to use any of his music.
That's awesome. Stranglehold, by far my favorite out of all of the Ted Nugent catalog. No offense to his new stuff, but his old stuff's awesome.
Oh, yeah. Well, I picked that up last week when you sent that subtle hint out about some Stranglehold with Ted Nugent. So yeah, there it is for you, Senator.
You can't beat his old stuff, really.
Oh, no, but we got all kinds of new. Man, I went crazy this weekend. Tom, just so you know, I'm a redneck by choice, by birth, and all this technical stuff is new to me. So as I've been thrown into this position as producer and everything, I really made it a goal this last weekend to figure out how to get all these cool sounds. Oh, look at there. Oh, it's time to go. to get all these cool sounds on here. We got some great music. I've got permission from Sean Bilton, a local musician here who's been to Nashville, done a bunch of stuff out there. Josh Brannon Band, who we've heard. I got some of his songs on here, but we've got a lot of new music to throw in there. And again, just add another dimension to the Trilogy Outdoors podcast. But
that's awesome. So we have coming up this upcoming week.
Yeah, let's talk about why he's here.
We have the World's Strongest Man competition. What's it called?
It's officially the SPD World's Strongest Man competition. So
what does SPD stand for?
It's a company, equipment company that provides like knee sleeves, elbow sleeves, belts, all the protective gear you'll see a lot of the guys wearing. I myself am associated with the company, and I really trust their equipment. When you're doing these maximal effort type things, you definitely want the best.
You want your joints protected.
Exactly, joints, back. You name it, they protect it, kind of thing.
All right, so y'all are having this competition down at the old Pavillion site in Myrtle Beach. Mm-hmm. It's like Monday through Sunday?
Yeah, it starts, the competition officially starts Wednesday. So Wednesday and Thursday are with 3 events each day, what they call the prelims.
Yeah.
So there's 5 heats of 6 athletes. If at the end of the prelims you're number 1 spot, you automatically move on to the finals, which will take place Saturday and Sunday.
Okay.
After the 5 events, if you are in second or third, you go to what's called a stone-off event. And then basically it's a last man standing, load a giant massive concrete ball over a wooden platform, and whoever wins the stone-off will then move into the final.
Now, is this where you get increasingly larger stones and put it up there? Is that the...
They haven't given us the details yet.
Okay.
Previous years, it's been increasingly large, but instead of it going up on a platform and staying there, it goes to the other side where your opponent is waiting to send it back.
Okay.
And then some years, they've just went straight to the 440 stone without building up to it and just sending that one back and forth as many times as possible.
Wow.
So 440 pounds.
Yes.
That's a big stone, right? I mean, if you haven't, those that are listening, you think, oh, well, 440, I mean, I'm a big guy, I can deadlift 440. We're not talking about deadlifting 440. We're talking about wrapping your arms around a stone, getting it on your knees. You have to practice the positioning, right? I mean,
Right.
I would,
It's almost like a stiff leg deadlift to get the thing off the ground, but like it's not where you use straps or even use hard belts. I mean, I can deadlift 850, and my best stone is, I think, a competition where it was like just one stone at a time. I had a 470, so
there's a huge learning
just
curve there.
just over like 50%.
Yeah, that's a huge.
It's if you can pick up a specific weight in stone form or sandbag form, you can pick up that weight in any fashion you need to.
Easy, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So there's a huge handicap there. Well, that's super cool.
That is.
So I used to watch a little bit of this sort of casually on TV, and
I watched it as a kid.
Yeah.
I can remember. Was it K-Man? Who was the other American that was so good back in the late 70s? Do you?
Kazmaier.
Kazmaier.
Yep.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
He was a former Green Bay Packer too, if I remember correctly. Yeah, he's
and where you were as well, right?
Yes. So I was with the Packers for a short summer. I was like picked up at the last right after the draft as a free agent signing, and then I made it to the last cuts.
What was your position?
That was 2017, right?
2017. That was the year that Aaron Rodgers broke his collarbone, so maybe it was best not to be up there. But yeah, we.
What'd you play?
I was right guard.
Okay, right guard. So.
Yeah, and then they played a little left, played a little center. I never had enough finesse to snap the ball, so that kind of got me a little bit. But it was an awesome experience, and I really loved being up there in Green Bay.
Seriously?
Yeah.
How could you not?
Just like the culture, you mean?
The culture and, I mean, the summer schedule for NFL is easy. Like, until you get to training camp, you go like 3 days at most in a row, and then you get 1 or 2 days off. Like, it's really not that bad.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was from a college schedule. You go 5 days a week straight.
Right.
And a lot of us did enjoy, fishing up there because we needed something to do during the summer. It's not that hot. It never got hotter than 80 degrees in August.
Right.
So we spent a lot of time like with one of the older guys, his name Luke Patrick, I believe he's on the Bears now. And he like showed us the areas to go fishing up there. A couple guys had boats where we went out on the lake once or twice.
Catching walleye.
Walleye? What's up there? Muskie? Walleye?
Muskie, walleye, and perch.
Yep.
Another popular one.
There was one river where we went to, like, this is the one we would go to like every other day. And we caught, I think it was like 5 different species of fish on the same river. We caught a rainbow trout, brown trout, a pike, a carp, and I believe a catfish.
Yeah.
I may be forgetting the 5th one. It was insane how many different fish we saw on the same river. It's about an hour north of Green Bay.
So is the rumor true that I heard that mosquitoes up there are big as birds? I have heard.
I'm trying to remember.
We have mosquitoes are terrible here.
Yes.
But I have heard that up north they are as big as pterodactyls, but
they're less frequent. But now that you say it, I do remember seeing very large, flying insects. But I definitely think the frequency isn't as bad as it is here down south.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got it bad down here.
Oh, it's all over my truck. I driving here from Delaware. I'm like, wow, I forgot what it was like.
Oh, dude, the little stretch of land between here, you can call it land, it's more like marsh, between here and Charleston, if you make that drive, that 2-hour drive, hour and a half drive, like in the late afternoon or in the early morning, it's like, the whole time you can just hear them hammering your windshield and your bumper, and you got to go wash your car immediately afterwards.
You're thinking running through hell.
Yeah, it is. Yep. The Santee Delta, it's like one of the best places on earth. It's one of my favorite places on earth. It can also be hell on earth if you're not prepared for it because of the bugs and the mosquitoes, which is really what keeps the people away, right? I mean,
that's right.
Like we have this discussion all the time on here. Like the fishery here, the offshore fishery especially, is fantastic.
Yep.
And that's because it's hard to get to, right? The things that keep people away here are things like bugs and distance, right? Like you're never going to have Yankees populate the Santee Delta.
No.
It's just not going to happen, right? I mean, like they'll populate Myrtle Beach and they'll populate, surrounding areas. They're never going to populate the Santee Delta. Thank God. Or like Bear Island or like, any of that stuff in the Ace Basin. Yep. You're not going to populate it because if you're not used to pluff mud and biting mosquitoes and biting flies, you're not going to ever want to live there.
The no-see-ums that we have here are probably the worst. And you really can't see them. Like, you might notice some in the evenings this week if you're out, but you really can't see them. But all of a sudden, you're like, oh, God. And you're looking around, you really can't see them.
You can't find them.
Yeah.
And they wear you out. They're bad.
And there's not a whole lot that works on no-see-ums either.
Nope.
Now, that stuff, what was that stuff?
Bug screen.
Bug screen.
That my buddy created.
Yeah,
it
bug
works
screen
great. It's all natural.
Bug screen works, but there's not a lot that does.
No.
Like bug machines don't work. Bug spray doesn't work. You'll get rid of all the mosquitoes, but the no-see-ums you'll just never, especially in the really bad months.
Yep.
Like a really bad month, surprisingly, is December.
Really?
Right. It's like you would think all the bugs are dead, but the no-see-ums, especially if you get a day in December where there's no wind.
Yep.
If you get one of those quiet, calm days where like the humidity's low, the wind is low, and you're putting the boat in at the landing in December to go hit one of those really nice flat days offshore, they will eat you alive.
Yep.
And I don't know why that is. December's horrible.
It's terrible.
It's horrible for no-see-ums.
Yep. Mosquitoes not so bad.
Yeah.
You and I were duck hunting that one morning. Remember the no-see-ums destroyed us
in
out
January.
there.
Yeah, that was in January. Yeah, that was in January. And
we were in the middle of duck hunting, dodging alligators in the winter. There was a
oh my gosh,
10+ footer. This one goes, oh, look at that. I mean, his hand, his front paw or whatever you want to call it was that big.
I got a picture
and
of
he
it.
had literally just walked across
into
where
our
we were going duck hunting.
into the pond that we were standing in.
Yeah.
his no joke, his paws were like twice the size of my hand. Like probably bigger than your hand. Your hands were like baseball mitts.
In January.
In January, yeah.
But
we've got them for sure.
You're from North Carolina.
We don't have gators in the mountains.
No,
you don't. No,
not that I've seen. Maybe cougars.
No.
You know what's interesting? We're way off topic, and that's okay.
Who cares?
Yeah.
It's Trilogy Outdoors. What do
So
you expect?
I was reading something a few months ago. The stripers in South Carolina used to make their way all the way up to where he lived in the mountains of North Carolina. In the mountains of North Carolina. The only reason they don't make that trip now is because of the dams.
Dams.
Yeah, I mean, they used to go all the way up into the mountain. The Indians, that's how we know that. The Indians had made notations of that, and some of the original settlers had noticed that the Indians were eating striper.
Yep.
Like in the creeks and in the mountains. How did they even get, I mean, you're talking about fish that can get 10, 15, 20 pounds swimming
30
up.
pounds.
Yeah, 30 pounds. I mean, I don't know how, whether or not it was the really big ones that went up the creek. But, I mean, salmon do that. So that makes sense, I guess. I just never thought about stripers.
And that is a long haul. I mean, I've heard of them coming up the James till Richmond, but
That's right.
That's a wide river, hour drive.
That's a long haul.
How that is.
It's a long haul.
How long is that by fish? If it's an hour drive?
Good Lord, I don't know. What would you think? I mean, and then you got to go through all those rapids and everything else.
Swimming upstream, too.
Swimming upstream.
You got to count for fish traffic.
Yep.
Well, it's 7 hours. How long is it from here to your house in Franklin? 6 hours?
About 6 hours.
Yeah, so, I mean, Think about how long that takes a fish.
I mean, months. I mean, I would think months. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I mean, you think about they tracked a dolphin from south of Cuba up to off of us in a week, wasn't it? A week or two. A fish, a dolphin fish.
Yeah.
Not a, but
not the mammal, the fish.
Not the mammal, the one we want to eat.
Now that wasn't the soundboard, right? That was you.
That
was me. I got to remember to put the dolphin sound in.
That was professional.
There you go. Sorry, I'll remember to do that.
Truly.
Oh, Stephen, I got one for you. I forgot. Hang on.
All right, hit me with it. Oh, love it.
Yep. And then this one's for me. Hang on. This one's for me. For when I make a stupid comment, so I can back it up. But anyway.
The bullfrog?
The bullfrog. Mm-hmm. It says boink, boink, boink. I said, I Googled dumb sound for a dumb comment. And it came up, boink, boink. I said, that's perfect. Put it in there. And then here's another one. One more.
Oh, yeah. I was hearing the puddle duck in the background. I think it was a mallard.
That would be a widgeon.
And then the widgeon came on.
It's amazing. You know, we have this $800 board here that we've had now for over a year and a month, and I'm finally figuring out how to use all the good stuff. But
that's cool.
Yep.
Tom, how'd you get into this?
So I started strongman pretty much immediately after my football career. So my football career didn't go out as planned. Said I was released from Green Bay in September 17, like September 1. I still pursued it for a while I started strength coaching up at Delaware, working on that. But I got into minicamp with Washington's team, and then after that didn't work out. I definitely thought I had a chance there. It didn't. I said, you guys don't want me, I don't want you kind of thing. And it was about the same time, if you guys have ever seen it, Born Strong came out on Netflix.
Nope, I heard all about your Netflix.
Yeah. I'd highly recommend watching Born Strong. It's follows the big four names: Big Z, Hathor, Eddie Hall, and Brian Shaw as they're preparing for the 20s. I'm going to screw up the date. I think it's 2016 or 2017 Arnold, which was my first pro show this spring, and the Arnold 23.
Right, and you finished top 5.
Top 5. And
so hang on a minute before you go on. Who you finished in 5th?
Yeah, you finished top 5.
So who was 4, 3, 2, and 1? Do you remember?
I may butcher the order, but it was Hooper was number 1, Mitchell Hooper, who came out last year at World's Strongest Man last year and has just blown up on the scene since. Mateusz Kielkowski, bad English there, who's been on top of the game forever. Then I believe it goes Trey Mitchell, Bobby Thompson, or I may have the order flipped.
Okay.
So Trey Mitchell was another American, right?
Yep.
All right. So 2 American, three Americans.
2 American, Hooper's Canadian, so 2 Americans,
okay.
And then myself, I believe, was the 3rd one.
Okay. Good.
Excellent. Very good. Okay. All right. Sorry. Carry on.
Yep.
Yeah. So watched that movie. I love lifting weights and hated running. So I was like, why not do this? Like, this is something I think I can do and hang in there. And got really humbled at my first competition, and then I learned I have to run a lot more than I thought. But football background kind of pays off. Opposed to some guys come from that powerlifting background where you just do the 3 main lifts and they're never moving around. So, it's kind of like the more athletic events have usually favored me, probably because of the football background. And yeah, it's kind of never thought we'd get here. Never thought I'd be competing World's Strongest Man. If you asked me last year when I was kind of really climbing up the open ranks, so the classes go from like regional to like amateur national to like that open class to like the big shows.
Right.
So I was kind of working my way through the open class last year, and I was like, man, I just hope to get a World's Strongest Man in 3 years, and it's been about probably 8 months since I said that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's very surreal, very humbling.
Yeah, because last year you won the Open Amateur World Championship.
Yes, so that's what got me into the Arnold, because it's like that. Strongman's very much in branches. Like you go up the Arnold branch, now they've kind of created a Shaw Classic branch, and then there's a World's Strongest Man branch. So earlier in the year, I won the Arnold Open. So that got me to the next one. I won the Shaw Classic Open, so that got me in the Shaw Classic in August. And then in November, the last one was kind of the stepping stone, what they call official strongman games, to get into World's Strongest Man. And I didn't do so well, actually. I went 2 for 3 of the year. I don't think that's that bad. And I didn't think I did terribly, but it was such a stacked competition. And the top 3 guys got in the Worlds. So they're here competing. I finished in 8th out of I think it was 58 guys. It wasn't my best weekend. All the guys killed it and made it the finals. For that, I think out of 48, they take top 10. And so if I had finished better, I probably would have earned my Worlds invite there. But that didn't work out. Why I wasn't on the original list. Did really well at the got pissed off, got into training hard, did well at the Arnold, and that's what kind of got me my reserve spot, and it kind of led to actually being in the competition.
Well, thinking about it, you could have been doing all this work for nothing.
Yes.
I mean, I say for nothing, you could have been working your ass off and never got this opportunity.
Correct.
But from listening to all the experts that I heard you doing podcasts with and interviews with today, I think they have a lot of respect for you. It sounds to me like more so your drive and your ability already. And they were talking about how accelerated in the last 2 years, how you've gone from, nothing to look at me, I'm here already.
I read a bunch of articles before you came here, and most of them believe you're the future of World's Strongest Man.
That's what I read.
It's a scary thought, but we'll find out. The thing that may help me is the last couple years or previous years, World's Strongest Man has started getting really heavy, more static. Now it's starting to get really athletic again. And kind of like I said before, usually I kind of favor better in athletic events.
Does that mean you need more cardio? Is that what you mean by that?
More moving. So like this year is like a loading race. So there's 5 implements. You pick them up. You got to run back, grab the next thing.
Right.
And watching 350-plus pound men run around is not very.
So they're timed events. So being able to move quickly with heavy weight is an advantage.
Yep. So and then there's plenty of things like the car walks, timed event, like farmers carries, timed event. There are sometimes you ever seen those big finger flips? Look like telephone poles.
Yeah.
Same thing, timed event, or even things that are static, like log clean and press for reps, and it's like a timed event. And sometimes they'll have the timed events, but the first place winner will hit 3 reps because the weight is just that extreme. That's kind of how the Arnold, the Austrian Oak was set up, where I think it was either 3 or 4 reps won it, and then first 1 rep got a whole bunch of ties, and I think that was the year more people hit the log than ever. They set it up with the expectation that half the field is not going to even get 1 rep. Whereas this World's Strongest is going to be like a ladder, so you hit 1, right, at a much lighter weight, probably more than 100 pounds less than the Arnold log, run to the next log, hit that, run to the next log, hit that. Where the last one may be pretty moderate heavy weight, but if you can do those first 4 fastest, and most people just get 4, the fastest time will win.
So there's I was looking at the schedule, and I'm in the National Guard, and so I have training for the next 3 weeks, unfortunately, before I get deployed to Africa. So my wife and kids are going to be coming on, I think it's Saturday, and I was looking at the schedule, and I think Saturday there's a fuel tank carry or something.
Yeah, the rain fuel tank.
All right, what is this?
It's they call it a shield carry. It basically looks like a massive, like a gladiator shield, but times the thickness and the weight by 20, where it's probably maybe a foot thick, even 8 inches thick, and then it's just 400. I think it's gonna be 440.
Okay.
200 kilos, and then you just pick it up and carry it in the kind of on your stomach, hold it in tight, and see how far you can walk it before you drop it.
Bear carry it, I guess. Okay, so we were asked by, I don't remember who it was, maybe somebody, Chamber or somebody. They wanted us to get a big boat together for y'all to pull.
Yeah.
And so that's what I didn't know. Are we supposed to tell them this? Because
I don't know.
Are some of the things surprises in the competition?
They gave us general outlines.
Okay, well, maybe I should. Well, it doesn't matter because they told us it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So they do have a bus pull.
Okay.
And I'm pretty no boat, I don't think.
Yeah, so this is where I was going with this thing because they asked us to get a big boat. So we got a big boat, 37-foot Freeman, which is a really nice boat.
Yeah.
And I think dry weight's right at 17,000 pounds or something, but on a trailer, so it rolls. And we got an email back that said, "Thank you, but no thank you. It's just not heavy enough." And I'm like, "Holy crap!
Not heavy enough." We were like, "What?"
17,000 pounds.
So in training, I've pulled a 34,000-pound bus.
So that's why, right? I mean, I guess that's why.
And that was considerably light, I guess, in far buses go. I'm not exactly sure how much the ones they're going to have.
I wonder any idea what the actual weight, the coefficient is on that, since it's rolling?
Well, I know they can modify it.
Okay.
So if they want it easier, fill out the tires.
Yeah.
If they need to make it harder, which, believe it or not, for people like Brian Shaw and Mateusz, they need to make it harder because those guys can just freaking fly. I've yet to do one of these at comp. I hope I get to the finals and get to try it out.
Well, how do you train for that? I mean, do you have a bus you can pull around at your house? I mean, how do you train for that?
During spring break up at University of Delaware, I got a hold of the the head of the transportation department.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Hey, can I come by the bus depot and pull a bus?" And they loved it. They had all their employees are coming out. They helped me get hooked up into the bus. And
all right, everybody, climb on the bus. Let's make it better.
Yeah. I stand on the brakes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and then you get a rope to help pull you.
Yeah. Okay.
So you basically get a truck, put a parking brake on, tie the rope to the truck, and then you get a little bit of assistance to kind of get started. But once you get started, it's not horrible. The worst part is getting it started.
Getting it going.
I bet. All right, but that's not something you can do, twice a week or 3 times. I wouldn't think, right? I mean,
once a week max, and sometimes once every other. And you can simulate if you don't another trick that I use my truck when I didn't have access to the bus, put a tire behind it so it drags.
Okay.
So you don't get as much momentum as you would for a truck. But then you could also, if you have the equipment to, let the air out of the tires and pump them back up to kind of change it. But I was fortunate because I got to warm up with a small bus. I'm like, all right, bring the big bus out. And then it took us about an hour and a half just to do basically one training thing.
Get it all set up and everything. Mm-hmm. That's interesting. All right, so what would you say is what would you say is your best? Where do you excel? And I don't mean specifically. I mean, I know there's lots of different events, but would you say I'm a deadlift guy, I'm a upper body strength guy? I mean, where are you?
I've got it this far being a generalist as much as I can. My weakest event was deadlift for quite some time, and I finally got it to, I guess, somewhat of a respectable number for the classification I'm at. So I really try not to have a best event or a weakest event. I do seem to fare best in overhead events for reps at that moderate weight. Yeah. The log ladder that I was explaining earlier, that's the one I'm really excited for.
You're good. You got big shoulders.
Yes.
You feel good about your shoulders. Okay.
And any time that it's a clean, because where you have to clean it up off the ground, that's essentially a football drill.
Right. Yeah. Okay. And how your shoulders feel? You ever feel like you getting any weakness in your shoulders or any tears or anything like that?
There's some labor and pain sometimes, but you kind of train around it and modify it. And you got to be smart. And really, the hardest thing with building all the shoulder strength is freaking sleeping. I'm a side sleeper. I don't like to sleep on my back, but then I wake up and my shoulders numb and shit. And
arms are numb.
I can't imagine. I've got 2 torn rotator cuffs, so I suffer daily. Yeah. It would have been nice to have him on the boat yesterday. We needed somebody. We had 2 Wahoos that screamed out about 600 yards of line, and reeling them in 34-ounce lead, which you don't think is heavy until you start reeling it in through the water.
Yeah, it's heavy.
Yeah, it would have been great to have you on the reel.
So I didn't. I know we're diverting again, but I didn't hear the result from yesterday.
We ended up with a 37.8 was our biggest. We had 3 Wahoo. 37.8 was our biggest, and with 1 day left tomorrow, McClure has now our youth fisherman on our team has now moved into 3rd place. So he moved into 30s in the top 3. We're in 26th or 7th.
You're fishing tomorrow?
No, we're done. No, one day left for anybody to fish tomorrow. Yeah. So another youth could actually pass him, but the weather looks bad, and it doesn't look like it's going to happen. So we're happy. McClure's super excited, and we just can't. My team is awesome. We're all great fishermen. We're like you, generally.
Yep.
If it's a competition to catch tuna, wahoo, dolphin, we've won one and we finished second in one. But when it comes to Wahoo are our weakness, and it's a number of different reasons. It's being hard-headed. It's being tight and not wanting to spend the money on the right high-speed tackle and everything else. But we just can't seem to get consistent on catching big Wahoo. But we catch good fish. I mean, we had 10 tuna the other day. We had 2 Wahoo. Yesterday we had 3 and 3 Wahoo, 3 tuna, and we were back at the dock at 2. You'd be proud of us for that.
I think
we normally fish till dark.
Yeah,
but we're 72 miles away. We have to go offshore 72 miles.
Yeah.
I think live baiting is going to be if you could figure out. So if you spent the money on the technology to really and whichever way you want to go on online service or you want to go SST, on boat service or
right.
Whichever with Sirius, whichever way you want to go. You spend the money to figure out where the good water is, to figure out where the bait is, and then you go live baiting and commit yourself to live baiting, and you really dial in what the Wahoo are eating that day. And, I mean, they may be eating beeliners. They may be eating hardtails. They may be eating whatever, wherever you are, right? But you spend the money figuring out where the fish are, and then you dedicate yourself to live baiting, I guarantee you the big fish start coming. It's just that nobody wants to dedicate themselves to it.
Nope. So we went for our day 2. So this tournament runs over 2 months, and you can fish 3 days, and you can weigh 1 Wahoo a day, and then your biggest 2 count. And on day 2, which was 2 weeks ago, we decided to take live bait. So we went and caught 36 mullet that were that big.
Big roe mullet.
Yeah. And so what we decided we were going to do is high speed for an hour, locate fish or locate big schools of bait, set up, pull everything in, and drift with our king rods, just our light king rod setups out with live mullet. And so we were all pumped up. We got ready. We put 4 rods out. We were drifting. 10 minutes into it, reel goes off. We grab it, start fighting. I'm like, God, that ain't acting like a Wahoo. That ain't acting like a Wahoo. We get a shark in. Then before we could get the 3 lines back out, another one goes off. Another shark. Then we got another shark. Then after 12 sharks, we finally said, all right, this ain't working.
And that's the next
And that's
part.
the problem.
That's the next part of this that's the problem right there is that we are over sharked,
everywhere. We have so many sharks, it's unbelievable.
And there's just no end in sight to that, right? There's no. I mean, I guarantee you, if you could figure out how to get past the sharks, that's the secret to catching 100-pound Wahoo off South Carolina is live baiting. But you got to get past the sharks, and I don't know how to do that. I can't even get past the sharks trolling.
You can't get past the sharks diving.
You can't get past the sharks
He's
diving.
a big scuba diver, insane, crazy, goes like 190 foot, 200 foot deep in craziness.
Okay.
And goes by himself with me. Like I drive the boat out there and he jumped off. I couldn't make it 20 feet down. I'm a smoker and drinker and way out of shape. But anyway, goes down and comes back up. Sharks have eaten half his fish he's got.
Yeah, it's bad.
Holy cow.
I'm like, and then he goes, puts a new tank on. I'll be back. I'm like, oh.
So what do you do when the shark's coming at you?
Underwater?
Yeah, you harpoon it or are you just fist fighting it?
Wait a minute.
No,
do you want him to be honest or does he have to be politically correct?
No, I'll be honest about it. No, I believe my interactions with sharks have led me to believe that being very aggressive with them right off the bat is the right solution.
Set the tone.
You set the tone. You show them you're a big man on campus, that you're just going to push them around. So, like, the minute I see a shark, especially, when you see sharks, you know good shark, bad shark. Like, right off the bat, you recognize good shark, bad shark. You recognize bad shark, bull shark, for instance. You recognize bad shark. I swim straight to him with my spear gun, and I just start jamming him in the tail, like, as hard as I can, jamming him. And if I have to jam him in the gills, I'll do that too. But I just jam him until, he scurries off. And then I go to shooting fish. And if he shows up again, I drop everything I'm doing. I swim straight to him and start popping him again. If you're not paying attention and you just let them sort of linger around out in the distance where they can see you and you can't see them, they're going to come in at like Mach 6 and eat your fish and maybe take your hand off in the process. And you just can't let them. You can't let them do that. You got to show them I'm the man and you're not. And that works 9 times out of 10. The 1 time out of 10 it doesn't work, you got to fight on your hands, and it's I still got all my fingers. So But I've had to kill a lot of sharks over the years, and it's just simply like I see them like dogs. Some dogs, you can tell that your interaction with them, you can look at them from across the room. Yeah, okay, everything's going to be okay. I can pet him,
Yeah.
Or I just stay right here. And then some dogs, you look at it and you're like, I don't know, man. That dog looks like he wants to bite me.
Yep.
You can see the same thing in a shark. Like I can see it right off the bat. Like that one's going to be a problem. And when you see that problem, you got to just like go to him and start hammering him.
Every shark I see has that look of that one wants to bite me. I just don't even mess with them.
But the more you
Stay in the boat.
Yeah, but the more, it's like anything else. Like the more you do it, the more you get it. And the more you do this, the more you're able to interact with sharks, the more you see it in them. Like their body language. Like they put these fins down like this. They start arching their back. They start showing their teeth. And, they're making these quick, jerky movements. Yep. And you're like, okay, all right, this guy's ready to fight. And you got to go to him. But anyway,
By the way, we like to bounce around.
Yeah, obviously. We've bounced around particularly a lot.
We even talked about where he's from.
You're from Franklin, and we know that.
Okay. Right.
He's from the mountains.
Just making sure. Yeah, he's an old mountain guy.
Were your parents big people?
Well, don't know anything about my dad, but my mom, no, not really. My grandfather, who actually passed away earlier this week.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry to hear that.
Well, I appreciate that. I'm dedicating this performance to him in World's Strongest Man. It was he battled dementia for about like 12, 13 years.
Oh, that's a bad disease.
That's a bad. Like we're at peace with it as a family. Yeah. Kind of. He would have been embarrassed on the condition he was in because he was very proud man. And tough son of a bitch, to be honest with you.
I bet.
Yeah.
So you think that's where you get this from?
Yes. Well, if you look at my grandfather, my uncle, and me, it's just like a family tree line. We all look the same.
Okay.
Same face. My grandfather was like 270 playing in the NFL before they even lifted weights. So, for what that's worth, my uncle likes to say he's more athletic. He probably is. He was a linebacker versus me and my grandfather were linemen. But, that's where we all kind of look like each other.
Okay. So all of them played football? Your granddad played in the NFL?
Yep. He played for the Giants, was drafted first round in 1963.
Okay.
And they both played for the Florida Gators in college.
That's cool. All right.
Oh, the Gators.
Yep. So I think we figured out where it came from.
Yeah, no doubt. So as a kid, were you scrawny growing up? Were you bigger?
No, I was bigger, and like it wasn't hard for me to put on weight, and I made my mom out of house at home. Like it was so bad how much food I'd eat, and it never got any better. But that's why getting a scholarship to play football.
Right. So you went to Richmond. You ended up leaving and going to Richmond and played for Richmond. And what
Spiders?
No, yeah, the Spiders.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had a great career there.
That's a weird name for a football team.
It is.
Well, there's a lot of weird FCS teams. A lot of weird.
Is.
Well, like Delaware Blue Hens. Richmond
That's right. Y'all are the Blue Hens.
Yep. And then
I knew that.
What's Coastal? It's another chicken.
The Chanticleers.
Yeah. It's a chicken.
The chicken. It's a Chanticleer.
It's a green hen.
What about terrapin? I mean, why would you want to be a turtle?
I don't know. Is it a turtle?
Terrapins?
Yeah.
Maryland?
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Terps? Yeah, I mean, why would you want to be a turtle? That doesn't even make any sense. I mean, don't you want to be a lion or a tiger or
Didn't
a bear?
Delaware win a big game or something in the last couple of years? Was it basketball? Was it football? What?
Basketball. Both basketballs last year made it to the NCAA tournament.
That's right.
We won a very big lacrosse game last, and that's the team I work with.
Okay.
Wait
a minute. You work with the lacrosse team?
Yep. Well, I'm the assistant football and then head men's and women's lacrosse strength coach.
Okay.
So I know it's funny. If you watch me on the sideline of a lacrosse game, especially a women's lacrosse game, I stand out like a sore thumb.
I bet.
I freaking love it. They
So why do they use a different strength coach for different? Is that normal? They use different strength coaches for different teams?
Yeah. So like there's, especially at the mid-major level, there's if you're assistant football, you're gonna work with other teams. There's no
okay. All right.
Like basketball, like it's just basketball. The head football guy is just football, but like he oversees the department, so he had to do like football, and like if another coach stepped out, he would have to help out with that team for a while.
Right.
For me, lacrosse made sense because it's closer to football from a strength and conditioning standpoint than you would think. Really, field sports are kind of all grouped together from an aspect. Especially men's lacrosse, you're looking at shoulder injuries, concussions, knees, and ankles. Football, shoulder injuries, concussions, knees, ankles, low backs, and low backs for men's lacrosse as well. So, like, how you train them isn't as far off as you would think, except from the conditioning aspect. And then, obviously, with women's lacrosse, less contact, you're looking at more of the lower body injury focus, and more of the conditioning aspect. But it's not as different as you would think between, like, how skilled football players are trained and men's lacrosse players are trained.
So do you have an exercise physiology degree, or is it School of Hard Knocks that has taught you everything?
Well, I'm actually one of the weird strength coaches that doesn't have a matching degree. So Richmond didn't have exercise science or anything. The closest thing I think I could have got was pre-med, which I wasn't smart enough for that. So we did business administration.
I don't think anybody that, like, I mean, if you're doing interviews, like, okay, English, you're interviewing me, okay? And the two of us walk in, and you're like, okay, Goldfinch, you've got a degree in kinetic physio science, and you're like, oh, Tom, what do you have a degree in? Nothing. Tom, you're hired. Tom, you're hired, buddy.
Exactly.
I mean, there's not like.
Well, sometimes it can work. For me, it can work the other way. Like, so, like, right, you see me coaching the women's lacrosse team, you're like, that doesn't make any sense. But obviously they're not doing the same thing I'm doing.
Right.
I'm studying, and I have all my certifications. That's the important thing, too, because, like, for strength coaches at the collegiate level, you have to have these proper certifications, just CPR and all that, obviously. Like, you have to, a good strength coach can go into the program, assess what they need, and sometimes it is a big focus in strength, but sometimes it's a big focus in conditioning. Like, when I work with the teams, like, every year it's a different focus. Like, what are we trying to attack? You need to work on the grand scheme of the whole athlete, but what's our biggest? Well, last year we got smoked physically, or last year, like, we couldn't keep up with any team in the fourth quarter. So, like, how your training kind of adapts to that, and I can't just be like, all right, let's go lift stones and logs and pull cars like I do. They wouldn't be like, I'll have some of the guys go, man, I'm just trying to lift like you, Coach Tom. And I'm like, no, you're not, because you'd be a really bad lacrosse player.
Yeah.
And then I'll go out and try to shoot the lacrosse stick. I got nothing.
Right.
It's not like fly fishing. There's no whip. There's no
I
whip
can't
in
see
the line.
you. If I am in a stream in the mountains, hang on, let's picture this real quick.
Yeah.
Coming around the corner, my little skinny butt, all dressed up in my Orvis outfit, and I'm coming around the corner, and I look, and I'm like, is that Sasquatch? And there you are. If I see you in the stream with a fly rod, I'm actually dropping everything. I'm coming over there and watching you because I'm like, look at this guy. He is way out of place.
Dude, is there a pair of waders that'll fit you? Do you wear waders?
I do.
He is sponsored by Glad trash bags.
Yeah, like giant Glad trash.
The waders aren't as much a problem as the boots.
Oh yeah, what size shoe you wear?
17.
Good God Almighty!
Yeah,
there's got to be a sound effect for that.
Those are like.
How did I miss that?
Those are like boat paddles.
Well, that's why
Wow.
I'm wearing my orthopedic New Balance Old Man 500s here.
It's because that's the only thing they sell.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, Shaq's probably got a pair that you could borrow. I'm sure.
Felt bottom waders.
Yeah.
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 I've had to. When I first started fly fishing, it was like Walmart brand waders that had a hole in it immediately.
Yeah.
And just regular work boots, and I learned very quickly how much you need felt bottom waders.
Oh yeah.
Especially in the mountains. I go with my buddy who ended up being a fly guy for a while, so he tied all my flies. It was the best friend a guy could ask for.
That's like for us, a best friend is a guy with a big offshore boat.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
It's better than having a boat yourself, right?
Oh
right.
man, I tell you.
He just got rid of us.
I just sold mine, so I'm like in free. But now I'm hating life.
Yep.
Not having it right now. All right. So you began your fly fishing career up in North Carolina. Where are you from?
Yeah. So actually, I grew up trout fishing, just on regular spinner, whatever. And for high school, we had to do like a senior project, and I always enjoyed fishing. Wouldn't do it that often around football season, and I always kind of stalked the streams, kind of like a fly fisher would, because I get bored with it. So I'm like, check out this fly fishing thing. And then our basketball coach at the time was actually the one that taught me how to do it. So we go out on trips, go to these, like, he showed me these remote places more than, like, just going to the county park. And taught me how to fly fish. And that was kind of my senior project, and I kind of ran with it. I continued doing it at Richmond. Every time I come home, I go fly fishing. Haven't been able to go back to North Carolina in some time. But when I do, make sure to call my buddy Jake Talon. We go fishing. He's actually working as a pilot now, not as a fly guide.
Oh, he's not a guide? That's what I was going to say.
He was for a couple years. It was great because then we go get the drift boats. You know all the good spots, best flies to use, the whole bit. So you kind of skip the part where you have to go talk to the guy at the fly shop. You can just be like, hey, all right, Jake, what's hidden right now? I made it a lot easier on me.
All right, do you know what your World's Strongest Man schedule is like next year? Is it out in advance? Does it come out in advance?
It does, but not a year. I feel like they released the dates for this one like maybe towards like midway last year.
All right, so here's what I want to do. I want to – you ever been fly fishing out west?
I did go to Montana for 1 week.
How was it?
Fantastic.
All right. So I go to Colorado fishing every year. I go elk hunting, mule deer hunting, and fishing every single year. Do y'all ever do anything out west? Do you ever have World's Strongest Man competitions?
So the Shaw Classics in Loveland, Colorado.
All right. So you and I need to get up together after this. So when you have a competition out there next, I'm gonna grab you after or before, and we're gonna go fly fishing in Colorado.
Deal.
All right. I'd love to do that. In North Carolina, you got like brookies mostly, brook trout?
Brook, browns, and stock rainbows.
You get stock rainbows. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so same thing, but I mean, you also have cut bows and cutthroats, and you even have some tigers. You've got and obviously you've got big bows and big browns in Colorado, and so there's a fantastic place called the Portal that we always fish, and I don't want to bring it to a whole lot of people's attention on the podcast. We've got about 100,000 people that listen to the show.
Don't hold back.
And so I'm not going to be the Portal's as far as I'm going to go with that comment, okay? Because that may have already revealed too much. But you and I are going to go like huge towering granite cliffs on both sides, like 1,800 vertical feet on both sides of you, and you got these giant rainbows and giant browns. Yeah.
I'm coming.
Yeah.
What we're going to do, we'll do it before, and we can use this and set this up for training. We'll get a saddle made for him, and I'll just ride on his back. Y'all can carry me around.
There is a little bit of hiking. I didn't mention
I'll bring the camera.
There's a little bit of hiking to get in there, but really super cool place.
That'll be rough on me. You just got to give me a little time.
Yeah, we'll get you a little it'll be good. Like high altitude training is really good, right? You need
until I pass out up there.
Yeah,
until you pass out.
Yeah, because then we're going to have a hard time.
Then you guys got to get me out of there.
So how's the schedule? All right, so coming back to a little bit closer, this week coming up, your schedule, how do you know how we can come watch you? Like what days can we come watch?
Yeah, so Wednesday and Thursday are the prelims, so I'm guaranteed to compete in those.
Okay.
Come right down to the Pavillion. Does not cost anything.
That's right. It's always been that way since 1960 something. Whenever it started, what year did it start?
I have it on my phone, but I'm definitely going to blank right now.
That's all right. Don't worry about it. But whenever it started, it's always been free.
I'm gonna pull it up, and
It's always been free, and so I'm thinking as a kid growing up, this is the same stuff we watch on NBC's Wild World of Sports, right?
Yeah, and it'll play on I believe CBS, but it takes some time to come out. But if you guys want to see it live and see what actually happened, I know there's like some VIP experiences,
right? VIP experience stuff.
If you want to pay for that, then you'll kind of get to hang out with the strongman a little more. But it's happening right in the middle of Myrtle Beach. That bus pull is going to happen right down. Whatever the strip's called.
Ocean Boulevard.
Right down Ocean Boulevard.
Yeah.
All right, so I got the calendar here for anybody who's listening that wants to go. We've got Wednesday, April 19th. Starts at 8 a.m. Then you've got a loading race. Then at 11:30 you got a deadlift machine. Then at 4:49 you've got a log ladder. These are prelim days. These are qualifier days.
Yep.
That's day one, Wednesday. Day two, Thursday, April 20th, another qualifier day. You've got Conan's Wheel.
What is that?
So,
come on.
Front carry, like you hold a bar in the crook of your arms, and then there's this big rotating apparatus they're going to put an ATV on like the pendulum, so you're carrying the weight of an ATV around in a circle.
Sweet. All right, that's at 8 a.m. You got a 1:20 p.m. kettlebell toss. You've got a 6:13 p.m. stone off. I don't know what that is.
That's what he was talking about.
Yeah, that's the elimination round. So second and third place guys at the end of the kettlebell toss.
Gotcha.
We'll do that event.
All right, and then you start final day 1, which is Saturday, April 22nd. You've got Fingal's Fingers.
It's like the telephone pole I was describing earlier. So you flip it up, you walk under it. It's kind of like an overhead and the power vent move together.
That's at 8 a.m. on Saturday, April 22nd. You've got knack deadlift at 10:41. Is that just a deadlift?
Well, you guys seen those big like knack boxes that you keep in your garage with all the storage?
You got kids outside.
You got kids all outside the window.
They can fit in the knack box, and then you deadlift it up.
All right, and then you've got Rain Total Body Fuel Shield.
So that was like the big kind of. It's another front carry.
Yeah,
it's going to weigh like 440, I believe.
Oh wow.
Okay, and then the final day on Sunday, 8 a.m. max dumbbell vehicle pull, which this is going to be a big truck, I guess.
I think they've released it's a bus.
Bus, okay, and then
unless that boat shows up.
Yeah, so that's it. The bus pulls at 10:10, and then 1:54 p.m. Atlas stones, and that's what everybody's seen, the big stones.
Yep.
Cool. Okay.
Yep.
So,
all right. So one of the things I watch a couple videos of, where your hands are inside. If it looks like a log, but it's not. What is that? Where you're carrying something. It had metal in it too, but it looked like a hollow log or something, and your hands were inside of it.
Oh, then you press it overhead?
Yeah, and you press it
they
over.
call it a log cleaning press.
Okay.
It's just a metal log.
Okay.
The one, we'll use Slater logs, which are actually wooden. So they just call that a log cleaning press. So the log ladders, kind of what I described there, is just you hit one weight, instead of doing the same weight, you run to the next one, and the weight continuously goes up.
Wow. All right, so let's talk about measurements. How big are your biceps?
That's a great question.
we're gonna measure them after this.
I agree. Thighs were incredible.
We're gonna.
I'm more of a leg guy.
Your thighs are incredible. They're big as me. Bigger than me.
What do you deadlift? You 850, 900 something?
Yeah, I pulled 856 in the Arnold.
856, such a random number.
If you were to guess, how much do you think his max deadlift is?
Ooh. Don't uncut me now.
I'm not. At least 6.
Yeah, he's got it.
Got it. You hit it. Oh, he texted me one Sunday morning like, just deadlifted 600. I'm like,
so I broke my back in 2010, and I didn't deadlift.
Oh, you want to hear the story?
Yeah, I can tell you the
Keep
story.
going.
It's a great story. I didn't deadlift, and I've always lifted, not like you, obviously, but I've always lifted, and it's sort of that's what clears my head. I'm like you. I hate running.
Yep.
Hate running. Love lifting, but the only reason I run is so that I don't get so fat and ridiculously ugly that my wife divorces me. Okay, that's the only reason. And the Army requires me to run too, so I run because of the Army and my wife. Otherwise, all I want to do is lift, and I'm like a powerlifting guy. I'm not I'm too fat to be a bodybuilder, and I'm too weak to be a power lifter. So I'm somewhere in between those. But anyway, 2010 broke my back, and I didn't deadlift or squat for at least like 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
And, my deadlift and squat went way down to embarrassing numbers. And since then, I've just slowly been surely pushing them back towards my max days, which my max on deadlift was 605, 505 on squat, and I'm 415 on bench.
Well, shit, that's nothing to shy away from. I mean, it's all relative.
Yeah. Right.
I weigh 360. I've committed a lot of my time to this. I should be able to lift this much weight. It's the way I look at it. Because I know there's people that are always like if I don't usually go to local gyms, like I did today, and they're like, oh, I wish I could lift as much as you. I'm like, well, how much time are you putting into it?
Right.
Are you hitting your personal goals? And that's kind of how you have to evaluate. It's
are you eating 8,000 calories a day?
Exactly. If you're not, then you're probably doing pretty damn well with what you're doing and based off your goals.
And you were saying, I think we were off air, but what your calorie intake's about 8,000 calories?
Yep. 8,000 calories, what I try to aim for, 6,000 minimum.
Yeah, so, most of us are doing, you're probably not doing, but probably 2,000 to 3,000 calories a day. I probably do 4,000 calories a day. He's doing double what I eat in a day.
It's as simple as...
And you eat a lot. You
eat
love
a lot.
eating.
Yeah, I do.
Every restaurant, 2 apps, 2 entrees.
That's it. That's how you sort of measure it in your head.
It's on my mind in the wallet too.
Yeah, right.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
So you wanting to eat a lot of red meat, I guess.
Rice, easy to digest. I get as much spinach and peppers as I can. The potassium is good for the heart.
Yeah.
I did a lot of oranges for energy. A lot of eggs.
Yeah. Do you eat fish?
Yes.
All right. So you said earlier you wanted some venison. If I've got some venison. I got some venison. I got elk meat.
You got elk too.
Ooh, I haven't had elk in a long time.
Yeah, I got. Do you have anything you can keep it cold?
I don't think so. We have a hotel fridge.
You got my cooler.
Where are you staying? Or don't. Well, yeah, you can tell me where
You
you're
say
staying.
where you're staying. We'll get it to you.
We're staying at the Hilton
Awesome.
Resort.
The one there in downtown.
Oh, it's north.
Okay.
Oh, way up north.
Oh, the one at the one up there on the north.
I know we're pretty far from the venue. I know we got to shuttle in every morning. It's not like
All of y'all.
on top of it.
All y'all staying in the same area. Is that how it works? I mean,
I think so. I don't know how much I'm supposed to disclose in case random fans show up.
Yeah. So maybe I'm trying to think about how I can get you something, but I will get it off air. We'll figure out how to get you some.
Yeah, we'll get you something.
Elk meat. I'll keep it in my freezer until you're leaving.
I love that.
When are you leaving? Town.
So I'll probably leave early morning 24th. The last competition day is 23rd.
All right. Can you get back up this way before you leave, and I'll give you some elk meat?
I think so. Figure something out.
Yeah, I'll give you a cooler and some ice and some elk meat, and you can take it with you.
Oh, that'd be fantastic.
Yeah, I got a big elk.
I was going to ask if you wanted fish, but then I was told that y'all don't eat much fish, so I didn't even worry about it. But I got tuna. I got wahoo from yesterday.
I eat fish.
I'm going to be cleaning them in the morning, so.
Heck, I eat pretty much everything. It doesn't matter to me.
Well, you got to.
You got to get that many calories.
Yeah, I think maybe the reason strongmen don't traditionally are looking at fish just because of the expenses and the amount of fish that you would need.
Right.
It's probably pretty extreme.
Yeah, I would imagine so.
So do you end up, all right, so we're going to let you get out of here, dude. We can't thank you enough, first and foremost. Because
thanks for having me.
You drove all the way down here to come hang out with us and do this and not having any idea who the hell we were. But we thank you, but we also wish you the best of luck. So, I mean, do you now have to go do other media stuff? Is that how it works? I mean,
Monday we'll start media stuff. But once the big names get down here, I'll probably get left alone a little bit.
What do you mean big names?
You are the big names.
The Chamber thought all about you. They were like they wanted
Which
you.
I am impressed. I get, but I think I'm the only outdoorsman ish that you have.
Then we don't care about anybody else.
No, we don't.
Fair enough. Works for me.
Yeah, we don't care about anybody. We're going to be promoting you.
Yeah,
I love it. I appreciate it.
And my wife was she's trying to finish up at work. She's at the house because I told her to bring the kids over here like now, and she's not going to make it. So the kids may miss school one day this week to come up there and come check it out.
Yeah, come find me. I'll try to make sure I got time to step away. It's difficult at times.
No, you're working. Now, listen, I played golf professionally. No, you're working. I'm not going to interfere with anything you're doing, but
we get long breaks in between. It don't bother me, and I always try to give back to those that give me support.
Well, time management's got to be another thing if you're already, with your workout schedule and everything else, time management for these weeks of competition and stuff also are probably a key part to it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, my days get very planned out, and I get really upset when they get thrown off.
Well, I'm sure you guys aren't going to all end up at a bar like we golfers used to and drink up and everything.
Maybe when we're done, but
yeah.
Not. Some guys may have a couple beers the night before. I won't.
No.
Not worth it for me. I get too dehydrated. The sun affects me too much. So
that's what I was going to say. Your dehydration part.
Yeah.
Well, do you have a website or anything where people can follow you?
So Instagram's really the only thing I use for strongman stuff, and then it's just Tom Evans Strongman.
All right.
Just lowercase all the way. And then for coaching stuff, I'm on Twitter, Coach Tom Evans. I'm trying to use it a little bit more, but the Instagram's good to follow all the strongman stuff I got going on.
Perfect. Well, we're going to get all that shared and everything else, but we're going to wrap this up and let you go back and enjoy a little bit of time with your wife and do whatever else before you have to start competing and becoming the strongest man in the world and living up to all these kids' expectations who are all outside waiting on you, by the way.
Yeah.
And we're going to have a lift-off.
Oh, yeah, we got to have
We're gonna have a lift off.
Yeah, maybe an arm wrestling competition.
Maybe an arm wrestling competition. But we really do appreciate you taking the time, coming up here and hanging out with us. And y'all, make sure you follow Tom. We're going to be pulling for him hard this week. And, hang on. I got to try something new. Here we go. Since we didn't get the commercial break in because we couldn't. I couldn't stop. It was going too well.
No.
Anyway, I'm going to give my buddy Josh Brannon a little time here, and we're going to let him take us away from the show today. But thank you again, and make sure you click like, subscribe, share, and tell all your friends about Trilogy Outdoors. You know, we're always talking fins, fur, and feathers. We're going to be back next week with another great exclusive podcast, and we're going to have the results, and hopefully we're going to be giving you some really good news about our good friend, new friend, Mr. Tom Evans here. But we'll check you next week, Senator. Have a great next 2 weeks.
Thanks.
Thank you for your service.
Good to see you.
And Godspeed. All right, folks, we're going to get on out of here. This has been Trilogy Outdoors. Remember, fins, fur, and feathers, you find it right here.
You know when the sun comes up, you know just why we're here.
Recently, Senator Goldfinch and myself were introduced to Healthy Cell and their incredible line of products. Stephen started on a regimen of taking Focus and Recall after each daily workout to help his body recover from the physical demand of a workout and to help boost his focus and brain power that he needs on long days on the Senate floor. For myself, the last few years, I've been struggling to get the recommended amount of vitamins and nutrients in my body due to decreased appetite. When I was introduced to Bioactive Multi, I was excited to start a daily regimen that I felt would help my performance both on and off the water and would give me more energy to get through long days and increase my productivity. With Bioactive Multi, I know that I am getting the FDA daily recommended amounts, and with the mixed berry flavor and the ease of swallowing, my body is able to absorb these vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants through the proprietary gel format that Healthy Cell has created. This allows my body to quickly absorb and start using these valuable nutrients to help me get through long, busy days, just like we all go through in our daily lives. Go visit healthycell.com/trilogy and use our promo code TRILOGY, all caps, to receive 20% off of your first order and start living a better life today. For over 8 years, GovWorld Auctions has been solving surplus issues for municipalities and counties in South Carolina and beyond. Their turnkey customer service has made them one of the best in the business here in the U.S., and they are located right here in our home state of South Carolina. If you're looking for tractors, heavy machines, and vehicles, just to name a few, our partners at GovWorld have you covered. The process is simple, and their experts will come to you to inspect, photograph, and video all items before they make them available to everyone in the world for the bidding process. GovWorld online auctions are supported by mailers, emails, and promotion to the biggest buyers in the country, and they get results and the highest dollar possible for your items. Don't go out of state to another auction company. Support business here in South Carolina and let GovWorld get you top dollar for your items and put the money back in your city, municipality, or county. Give GovWorld a call or visit their website, govworld.com, for more info and to set up a visit with one of their experts to get you in the next auction. Don't let valuable items just sit behind a fence. Give GovWorld a call and start turning them into money today. Trilogy Outdoors Podcast is a product of Trilogy Outdoors Media. All views and opinions of our hosts and guests are not necessarily those of our sponsors. Trilogy Outdoors is produced and edited by Trilogy Outdoors Media. Be sure to follow us on all the podcast platforms as well as our social media pages on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And also, don't forget our other brands, Southern English Radio Show and Walk 'Em All Outdoor Magazine. To find more information, visit TrilogyOutdoorsMedia.com. And remember, if it's anything dealing with fins, fur, and feathers, you're going to find it right here on Trilogy Outdoors.